Damn, Joe Budden has had a rough year, man. 2016 has really been something for him. You know, he's beefing with Drake. You know, he killed Drake, allegedly. I mean, in a rap battle. He had to chase down some punks that came to his house, messing with him because they were Drake fans, you know, chasing them down the street with a rock, acting like a caveman, banging on their window and stuff. Man, he walked out of a Hot 97 radio interview. Damn, he lost that fine-ass Marisa Mendez from his radio show. I mean, come on now. Joe's been through a lot. So Marissa, from what I heard, this is what went down. Marissa talked about Drake and Joe Budden's conversations that they had on air. And Drake and Joe Budden are beefing, of course. And Drake would not respond to Joe Budden's diss records that he made this year because Drake already knows better. He knows that he would be creamed in that battle. So he just said, well, fuck it. I'm going to walk away from this. I'm going to gracefully bow out before I get destroyed. So I'm just going to talk shit on stage, but not really go back and forth with Joe. He decided to use his popularity by talking at his sold out concerts or whatever, like to talk crap about Joe, but he wouldn't actually make a record because all of the rapper in him left the room when Joe started getting up on him. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna just stay in my lane and go sing R&B and go talk shit on stage. He knew better. He knew what time it was, but so he never responded to Joe. But anyways, when Marissa talked about Drake and Joe Budden's conversations on air, well, I guess Joe had to let her go from the radio show they had together. They had a radio show called, what was it called? I'll name this podcast later. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and read to you what Marissa had to say about it on social media. She said, quote, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." She said this about that following tweet. She said, "Thank you to everyone who rocked with me on hashtag I'll name this podcast later. Time to grow now. I love you guys. Hashtag Marisa Explains It All coming soon." Is that a new radio show with the title Marisa Explains It All? Or is she going to make like a clumsy Mexican and spill the beans by pouring us a hot steaming cup of tea later on? Which one is it? Anyway, she went on to say the following. "What the heck would someone Joe is dealing with have to do with anything? People love pitting women against each other." Okay, Joey, responding to something he said on Twitter, she said, "I'm not going to sit here and act big and bad like that shit didn't hurt. Fuck the pod. But that a quote friend assumed some shit and did that. But God works in mysterious ways. I don't do drama. I'm not into back and forth. Nada. It's always love for me. It is what it is." And yeah, well, the whole point of this is this. They're saying on the intranets that Joe did not give her a courtesy call when she was let go. Joe allegedly fired her via text message. And I said, Jesus, who would fire a big booty cutie Latina like Marisa Mendez from their show and not at least give her a courtesy call as opposed to, you know, wow. I mean, if that's true that he really fired her via text message, that's real douchey. Not that I'm trying to shade Joe Budden, even though he blocked me on Twitter with his over emotional ass. Joe, grow up. You need to grow up in some areas. The one thing Joe Budden is doing right is dating Sin Santana. Now, he gets the biggest high five for that shit right there, brother. I mean, Sin Santana, all right then. No, but seriously, man, Marisa Mendez is bad as hell. She doesn't need to be on that show. If she started her own radio show called Marisa Explains It All, Jesus, I'd be listening in. The only reason why I don't listen to Joe Budden's podcast is because he blocked me on Twitter. And I was like, oh, word, it's like that? Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I'm just some dude who makes YouTube videos. You know what I mean? Like, who am I that Joe Budden is blocking me on social media? That just doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. He's a very emotional person sometimes and needs to get over himself, you know? He's chasing kids with rocks, talking about some, I will kill one of you little ninjas. He's so overly dramatic sometimes. But yeah, man, that shit is cray. Now, Marissa shouldn't have been fired. I mean, regardless of whatever he's accusing her of or mad at her about, I mean, it's Marisa Mendez. She's too bad to be firing shit. I'll fire that ass up, though. But anyways, let me stop being thirsty. I hope she does do a new radio podcast so I could tune in and I can call in and I could be like, if you were on my radio show, it would become your radio show and you'd be the star. Because that's just how I get down, you know. I'm partial to pretty girls. That's just how I roll. But hey, you know, I'm not trying to sound like a simp or anything, but I blame Budden for whatever happened. But anyway, let me know what you think about it all below. Who do you blame? Do you blame Marissa's fine ass, or do you blame that bully Joe Budden? Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels. Visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more. Follow me on Twitter at Meat Magazine.